Hi guys, so today I have some old first aid USGS survival kits. They're really cool. I believe they're from the years maybe 1955 to I think 1975. They're pretty old. They're kind of designed for like old USGS people, like old surveyors or mappers. So we're gonna go ahead. I'll tell you the contents of this one. We got tube tent, so 8-foot tent, single mirror, hand pitch whistle or high pitch whistle, basic first aid including we got bandages, gauze pads, butterfly bandages, aspirin, emergency notes, first aid, fire building, weather, shelter, travel, wind chill and hypothermia. We have 2 candles and 2 flare sticks, 50 waterproof matches, 20 foot of nylon cord, a safety pin, razor blade, aluminum foil wire 2 feet, and a piece of duct tape for 3 feet long. High impact waterproof container, so this, 2 energy bars, 3 bouillon cubes, which is basically like a little soup cube where you throw it in water and it makes a really good soup. Seasonings and herb tea bags. Alright, and then in this, there's something special in here. I'm going to save that for the end of the video because it's very cool, but it's kind of dangerous. You don't want to open it. Alright, let's check out this. Alright, so first off the bat, we have, I think this is the 2 feet of steel cordage. There's many uses for this. The main one would most likely be cutting down a tree, or you could just use it as binding. In the cap here, we have the little mirror, which you can take out, but it's a tight fit. My finger's too big, I can't get in there. It's pretty neat though. This is used for kind of deflecting signals, so if you see a plane flying overhead and it's sunny outside, you want sun to hit this and reflect back up at the pilot, and he might be able to see your signal and radio in. Right here it says, with pure cocoa dextrose cubes. So I think these are kind of like basically little chocolate cubes, probably basically hot chocolate. I bet you can make hot chocolate with that. Right here, I think, oh, this is the tent. This is a little tent. What you do is you would build up like a little triangle shelter. I think it's made of aluminum. You make a little triangle shelter. It's not going to be too big, but enough to harbor you away from the elements, and then you kind of lay this across the top of it, and it'll protect you. Here, you know what? We're just going to dump some of it out. Right, whoa, we got a lot here. Alright, so, this is seasonings, herbal tea, and then those are the bouillon cubes that we were talking about that make soup. We got little, kind of safety pin. These are pretty useful in case you got maybe clothes broke or you need to hold something onto some fabric. This will do the job. We got 3 feet of duct tape. I feel like it's more than that, but some duct tape be very useful when you're out in the wilderness. And these, 2 Hershey's chocolate bars. These are old. I bet they don't taste too good now. Let's see if we can find a year on here. Nope, no year. Pretty neat though. These are old. This is all vintage. We got an old whistle. I think this is kind of like high pitch, so if you're out somewhere in the wilderness, but you know you're somewhat close to other people, maybe hikers, you can just and blow that and it'd be really loud. These are matches, I believe. So these are waterproof matches. They're pretty basic. I think we have quantity 50 on them. Yeah, it says it right on there. I think these are, 1980s, 70s waterproof matches. Let's go ahead and take a look at them. Ooh, that's neat. They're really tiny and they have green tips and a red one. That must be the waterproof kind of coat. Alright, let's see what else. Ooh, whoa, we got a lot of stuff. Ooh, if it'll come out. Well, I guess I'll just gonna come out right here. Ooh, so we have a razor blade. This can probably be forged if I can get the cover off. I can't. It'd probably be best. But there's a razor in there. This can be used as a makeshift knife, or if you really just need to cut anything, this will work. It may take a while, but it'll work. Very sharp. Those are very sharp. We have some paracord, probably, how many feet is it? 20 foot of nylon cord, so this can really do anything. It can hold stuff together, maybe even fishing line. It's a little too thick, but maybe you could get some of the fibers out. It's really soft, shockingly. I wouldn't expect that. You know what? I bet this is just a blanket, also, or I bet you could also use this for cooking stuff, because I think this is our tent. So what you do is you take this out, and then you would lay it over the little stick shelter you could make. I bet that keeps out in it all sorts of stuff, because it feels like a rubbery texture. It's orange, so high vis, so if anything's flying above and they see it, they're gonna be like, oh, somebody's probably there. This is kindling. So if you don't know what kindling is, it's basically like little tiny wooden fibers, and if you lay it down, it's highly flammable, so any flame spark hits that, it'll light up, and then you slowly pile on bigger and bigger sticks till you get a good fire. So this is a candle. I believe it can also be used as a flare stick, but it's not only a heat source but also light source. You can use this to light up your little makeshift shelter, and even maybe start a fire, though I don't think it would be useful enough for that. This we have, I guess these are just instructions, kind of tell you the contents and everything, what it's used for. We're not going to go over that, that'd be a lot of reading. This looks like first aid kit. Should we open it? I guess we will. Well, you know what, we'll keep it closed. We have 2 little things of aspirin. They have, I believe, 2 pills in each. That's kind of like a pain reliever. I think 4 or 5 Band-Aids. These are very useful. I mean, I'm assuming all of us have used a Band-Aid. Back there we have some really tiny little butterfly bandages. What those are used for is more like tiny little cuts. Sort of like if you have a little cut on your head that's bleeding a lot, you put those across it and it helps heal better. On the back here we have 2 sterile gauze pads. These can be used for more larger wounds, maybe gashes, but they're very useful, and you can probably strap them down with cordage or tape. Alright, we've made it to the weird bag. This has some really interesting stuff in it. Most of it's pretty just basic, but there's one thing in here that's pretty strange. Alright, let's go ahead and dump it out. And be careful as I do it. Here it is. Alright. So these are just more gauze, kind of, but it's much bigger, as you can see on the back. That's for very large wounds, also for broken stuff. So if you're out in the wilderness, you break something, you're far from hospital. Those are really good working as splints. So what you would normally do, maybe even if you have a metal pipe, you lay it against your arm/leg, whatever's broken, and you wrap the gauze around it, and that little metal pipe keeps it straight, and then the gauze kind of keeps it protected, and then slowly over time it'll heal straight. This is just some little waterproof adhesive tape, very basic. Like, this can be used for anything, maybe even if you want to make a raft, I guess you could use that. Also, I think you can use it for maybe stitching up wounds, but it's just basic waterproof tape. This is kind of like a soft cast. So basically you just wrap it around your arm. It's brown in color. Yeah. It's very basic, just a little soft cast. You wrap it around your arm to heal. Alright, we've made it to the crazy stuff. So these have mercury in them, and in case you don't know what that is, it is a highly, highly toxic chemical. You can get mercury poisoning. It's very dangerous if it comes in contact with you, but it is perfectly safe to be holding the container. I'm not going to try to pronounce that name. It's a really weird name, but it's little ampules. I'll just go ahead and show you. It's got 10 ampules in it. And that right there, that little liquid has all sorts of stuff in it. and it's highly dangerous. But if that were to come in contact with like an open wound, which is shockingly what it was used to heal, would be very dangerous today. And back then they didn't know that. You know, we didn't have this modern science to tell us that. But it's still really neat. What this says is kind of like the instructions for it. So it says, crush tube and fingers at point indicated. It'll release fluid into a little cotton tip you saw and apply to around your wound. Essentially, what they thought back then, it would make it heal with medicines, but it basically did the opposite. At first, it looked like it was, and then it would either infect the wound, poison it, or just make it really sting. But yeah, that was all of our health stuff. This came in a little bag. All this stuff that came in here did not come with the tube. That was all separate. But they would also go with the scientists. It's pretty neat. We got a lot of stuff here. I hope y'all enjoyed watching. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. And I appreciate your time.